Civil War.
Captain America 3.
Take one.
Fuck, take one, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Okay. Should I start?
Sure.
I find it peculiar that we have these superhero movies, and there's so many possibilities for actually having some kind of meaning. And there's absolutely no. I mean, this was not a bad movie. I actually thought it was a entertaining movie, and although I bought too much sweets, which kind of I'm judging right now.
The super ego.
The super ego, exactly.
Hero.
But I'm thinking,
Or whatever.
let me say this.
Yeah.
This was not Captain America. This was Captain Anarchy.
Ooh.
Yeah. I didn't think I should say that ever. But it was really weird. Like, I mean, there was one big question in this movie. And that was, do we follow our own conscience always? Or do we kind of let society guide the rules we're living under?
Sure, yeah.
It is like anarchy or chaos. No, it's not. It's kind of anarchy or civilization. And,
yeah.
And
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Good. And I just have to
Yeah. Sorry.
Captain Anarchy.
Yeah. Your point made extra. There.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I agree. That's that was. I mean, for the first longest time of the movie, I think we might be spoiling just to kind of be a bit ahead. But for the first longest part of the movie, it was all this question that was engaged. This whole thing, like, okay, before they were under SHIELD, and then in the last Captain America, SHIELD got kind of exposed as with another agenda and blah blah blah, and then the other side of the whole Marvel story is that you need to have seen, all series of everything.
Right.
Not only Captain America 2, which I saw recently to kind of get picked up on the thingy, but of course
Iron
latest
Man.
Yeah, obviously, but also the latest Avengers,
Right.
Age of Ultron, which also was kind of referred to.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is, yeah, like, is the UN going to be the new SHIELD, and when can you ever trust any kind of convention
Exactly.
to be outside of personal agenda, which it never is, and it has some political agenda, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, I want to make a point here, because and a different point, but just to add more to this soup.
Right.
I find it a little bit kind of by now. Yeah, I felt that in the last Avengers, Age of Ultron, and I feel that one in now. Blah blah blah. Blah, that when they get so many superheroes together, it kind of washes out.
Right.
It becomes a little bit like, then everything is about, and then comes back to what you just said, is they all become personal Avengers.
Right.
Everything is about fucking sentiment. And it's like, okay, Vision is the only one who's really got it. It's like, you guys meditate, just meditation, because otherwise it's like, you killed my dad, he's my friend, do you remember when we did that back in the day? It's like, come on, you guys, why? And it was the same with Batman and Superman. It's this kind of, we're going back to this kind of super child state. It was like, oh, it's super funny to see these guys with superpowers battle over something that is so childish as that, which is why you kind of can find the argument for putting them under a convention if they're not able to kind of have any kind of reign of their superpowers, and they have to beat up each other or kill a nation or destroy planet or whatever every time somebody's dad dies, you know. Jesus.
Well, but
And then that panther, he was showing a new way. Like, I'm giving up this revenge over this, revenge over that, then revenge this and that, then this person's dad died, and you know, he kind of said, okay, I'm done being consumed by revenge.
right, but he was still a Black Panther.
He was, yeah.
But okay, I have 2 points. I have to
Yeah.
kind of the first. I'll kind of follow you there because this is a spoiler, but Stark is kind of the good guy in most of the movie. He kind of, like Vision, he kind of says like the UN is the thing. We have to kind of,
You mean in this one?
in this movie,
Yeah, totally.
we have to kind of cope with society, and we do make mistakes, and the mistakes we do have to be sanctioned in some way. We cannot just do stuff arbitrary. But then the moment he himself get personally involved, then he loses all civilization. He just becomes some kind of reptile. and I mean, this is so strange because, like, what is this? If we can't have some kind of idea about how thing is, only if it doesn't affect us. But the moment it affects us, then all kind of furnace kind of is ripped off.
Yeah, true.
Okay, that was one point. The other point is these super movies are not only interesting because they're super movies, like cartoons about strange characters. This is coming closer and closer to us. I mean, gene putting together all kind of weird sciences is coming. So children are starting to get born now, for sure, which is enhanced in many ways. It will happen, and it is happening. And all these questions are not addressed at all in this kind of in the big scheme. Yeah, it just kind of hits me because this is not just comic.
No, of course
anymore.
not.
It's
no, but it was never just comic. It's
No.
commenting
Yeah.
on society in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And also at the same time, it's this whole thing with, and of course that reflects the time that the comic was made. This whole thing of the special ones and the crowd. And the thing is
Right.
that doesn't really apply anymore, because all of us are individuals, and of course when there can also be crowd mentality, but that's our choice, our own personal choice in all situations. No. So this whole thing with the special ones is like, well, this one is special, and this one, and you know, and then we bring Ant-Man, and then there's Spider-Man, and you know,
That's good.
that, and it's fun
Yeah,
because it has
was
this
fun.
kind of, oh, it's the whole family, you know, but at the same time it gets muddy the same way that a family party can get muddy,
Exactly.
because then it's this ego clashing.
It
And it's
becomes like
it just becomes too,
it's like Life in Brian. Yes, we are all individuals.
yeah, but then
In
they're,
big
I'm
chorus.
fighting you, you're stupid, I'm stupid too, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. So, in strange ways, there was absent. It was kind of coping, taking on some really important and really big questions, which is kind of very interesting, but it loses it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But yeah, because it's not pointing anywhere.
it's not pointing anywhere exactly.
And I really think this whole thing with the Panther guy, this thing with, I am done being consumed by revenge. I had kind of hoped that would show a way out. But then Captain America goes ahead and says, no, I want civil war. It's like, aren't you guys learning anything? And no, they're not, because they're so fucking masturbating over their own superpowers. And they're just, in that sense, they have complete flock mentality.
Yeah, totally.
They're, like you said, total reptiles. He's my friend. And it always goes back to the past. Those sentiments, they always go back to the past. It's revenge for this, revenge for that. Because I once had a feeling for someone. It's like, you know, you cultivate your feelings again and refresh yourself. And then you don't have to sit and wank about the past all the time, you know? It just gets so fucking dull and automatic.
Another thing is, like, with all these superheroes, all the good ones, I mean, it's they don't. The good part is not followed through, kind of. I mean,
What do you mean?
like, it was great. Ant-Man suddenly turned up.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good, but he's just there, like, and then he disappears. There's no meaning. Why is he there?
It's like
Is
they're
it
all
just to make a
sidekicks.
joke? It's all sidekick.
Yeah.
Exactly. This movie was basically 95% sidekick.
Yeah. And then it's like, but what?
Very
what,
good sidekick.
Sure. But then what is like? What's the story of Captain America? Why is this called
Yeah.
Captain America, not the
Yeah.
Avengers? And
Yeah.
because it's like we have 200 people that are all used to being main characters, and all have all have a lot to say and very important stories and blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
and then they just become a flock. Basically, that's it. When you add so many special people into a pot, and they all their motivations are exactly the same.
You know what's really strange too?
No.
This is Captain America. He symbolized a whole fucking country. 350 million people, or I don't know, 275 million, or how many people lives there. And he don't give a fucking shit.
I found him. I found him kind of annoyingly goody two shoes this time.
And only what?
Goody two shoes,
What is that?
like in the
Yeah.
toothpaste smile and everything. And I liked him in the first two because he had some kind of personality that lent him some edge.
Yeah, some self-humor also.
Yeah, to that self-righteous kind of
Right.
name, already. And this time it was like, when I see something pointing south, I just can't help but do it.
Yep.
It's like, that is so arrogant.
That is so exactly. It's so arrogant. That is it. Yeah.
And I found him just arrogant and annoying this time. And this whole thing of, he's my friend, it's like, you know what? Why don't you start living in the present moment instead of 100 years ago and making everything that matters to him comes from the past when his heart was open.
Right. That's true.
And then every fight is like, I want to protect that, which is not even there anymore. It's just his memory of sentiment. And there is this old girlfriend dying and blah, blah. It's just boring. It's just boring.
Yeah. There was
He's uninteresting.
Then there was some kind of really weird stuff going on. Also, I thought, like, the first 1 minute, it starts with this really old Soviet Union kind of where they made the thing, shield stuff.
Yeah.
And
Where they did that thing with the Winter Soldier.
there with the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the guards was looking into the wall? Why the fuck did the guards look into the wall? They were standing around the door and looking it. I mean, they were not looking at who was coming. They were looking into the wall. There was anybody could have walked in and kind of knocked them down. Or anything. Why did they do that?
I didn't see that at all.
No, that's really strange. And then there was some really good those really good one-liners.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Right.
for example, have anybody told you you're really paranoid? No, no, nobody told me that to my face. No, that was.
Is that what people are saying?
Yeah, that was coming
Yeah.
wrongly,
No,
but it was. It was
that
funny,
was funny.
when it was
Totally,
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say I had huge expectations for this because I really liked number 1 and number 2, and I really thought they brought some perspective and something interesting, and I thought that character Captain America was interesting back in the day.
We actually talked about that when we saw the last. Did we see that together? I don't
Which
remember
one?
actually. Captain
Anyway.
America. No.
I withdraw those words. I found him so annoying this time.
Yeah.
Self-righteous and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
a wanker basically.
Nothing wrong with wanking. I just had to say that.
No, but a self-righteous wanker is a bit annoying.
That is true.
Because Iron Man, he's just a wanker. And he's never been self-righteous about it. He's just been narcissistic. And that's been fun. Because he can do that. And he's not, trying to be a hero or anything. He's just, very, very out there with his agenda. He's not pretending to be, to be above anyone. Except he knows that he has more money and, you know, brain power and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
no, Captain, you lost it in my eyes this time.
Spider Boy. There was some
was
good.
fun.
There was some good points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Well, but I didn't think it was a bad movie actually. We saw the extended version, and
Yeah.
it didn't. It was not that long
Didn't feel
actually.
that
I
long,
didn't
no.
know what they cut out of the not extended version. I mean, that's kind of. But anyway, as I was entertained also, but it was not just like. It was like watching. I don't know.
But I'm not all done actually with the story.
Okay,
If we can
good.
just
Yeah.
spoil some more.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the doctor who fucks it all up.
Right.
And this whole thing that they have been trained in the mind by Hydra
Yeah.
by saying all these words in that specific order and blah
Mhm.
blah. And then, you know, the whole very intrigued setup with he does that so that they would meet and then he would, you know, divide them from the inside and blah blah. And then this whole thing of going to Siberia and oh no, there are 5 more Winter Soldiers. It's going to be a big battle, blah blah blah. And then they're just dead.
Mm.
It's like,
Yeah. Why did they do that? It was strange.
yeah, it's like it's all about revenge.
Mm.
And the revenge is from all the stuff that happened at Age of Ultron. And in a way, when they were talking about in the beginning, I had this memory of Team America. Like when they all come in, it's like, ah! And they, you know, throw down the Eiffel Tower and, you know, they wreak so much havoc. and then they just go along in their shiny suits and stuff like that.
Mm.
And somehow it's like it was all about that, but the whole scheme and luring them to do this or to do that, it wasn't so clear to me. I think the plot was kind of, it sounded more interesting than it was.
I mean, basically, there was no plot.
There was always a little plot, and it's always very tiny. You know, and this was tiny. There's this guy who is angry for something that happened in another movie, and then he had spent a lot of years figuring out how to divide them against each other by doing all these, you know, this bomb and then doing this and then, you know, tricking them to go there and blah 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 blah. But actually, all the tricks were more interesting than the plot line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also, like, he could just have walked away. I mean, he divided them, he could walk away, he had his revenge, he could go to some kind of tropical island, sit under a palm on a hammock and stuff. But he didn't do that. He exactly went back to Siberia, give them clues where to find those Winter Soldiers. Why did he do that?
Because he thought he could divide them more or something like that. It was just
Exactly.
a little bit like,
there was no point in doing that.
What was that? It looked very, you know, spectacular and blah blah, but it was like, huh? What? What's the whole story with those Winter Soldiers? Oh,
Yeah.
there are 5 more, blah blah, and then they don't use them for anything.
Yeah.
Except for another fight. Not Batman versus Superman this time, but
Yeah.
Iron Man versus Captain America. And it's the same old thing. You killed my mom, I killed your dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Meditation.
Yeah. Or it's more, it's like the stuff that the guy says, the Black Panther. I'm done being consumed by revenge. Then what? Then what is the next step? And it never went to the next step.
Mm.
It just stayed at that. Angry friends. Or whatever. Animosity. But I just find it way more interesting. What happens when we go to the next step?
Mm.
And we've talked about it before. And we've addressed it a million times. I've addressed it many times.
Yeah, but it is much more. Of course, it's much more interesting. I mean, the plot was really tiny. There was absolutely no morale, not even ethics in this movie.
It wanted to create some ethics, but then it kind of blew it all up because he's my friend, and you know I'm gonna help him anyway, and it's just like I don't think they know what to do. I don't think they know how to create a plot that brings it to the next level.
No, I think you're right.
It's like the only thing they know is to fight each other and make conflict.
Yeah.
And it just becomes, you know, like this, too many cooks spoil the food or whatever. It's just like too many superheroes, and it just becomes one fucking circle where everyone has to sit and say, I feel like this, I feel like that. It's like, you know what,
Yeah.
guys, I can't be fucked. You know, I'm so bored with
No,
your
but
opinions.
it's so true. And also, I mean, when you see a movie like this, I mean, you want to see some development in some of
Yeah,
the persons,
exactly.
and actually also want to see some depth.
Yeah.
Also in the side
Just a little
persons,
bit.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was absolutely nothing. I mean, I
No.
love Romanoff, for example. I
Me
really
too.
do. Yes, I mean, she is so fucking cool.
She's very cool.
but where is she in this movie?
Exactly.
She's
And-
not here.
And I feel like that's what happens when they all have to be in the movie together.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no development happens.
No.
And there's nothing that changes on the inside that makes me sympathize more with one than the other. It just becomes very flock mentality
Yeah, I also, and another thing is, we haven't talked
and
about really.
one-liners. Sorry.
Yeah, that's some good one-liners, but we are never actually explained why this split happens. Why does Captain America not want to be part of a UN team?
Yeah.
It's not addressed at all.
No.
The only explanation is that if I see something, then I won't have to react.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Exactly.
So it's not explained at all. So this whole,
Yeah.
the whole kind of plot and the whole kind of scheme is just, it's ridiculously empty.
I mean, I could see maybe an outline of a motivation with the whole thing that S.H.I.E.L.D. in the last Captain America got so fucked up. So I understand the initial mistrust in the system, because the system is
course.
full of, you know,
We know that.
yeah, and that's okay. That's what we all live under.
That's why we need whistleblowers.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
and more than that, more of them. But
So that should be the point.
yeah,
We need that.
yeah. But this whole thing of saying no, I will not. What he's actually saying is my ethics are more right than any systems,
Exactly.
which was true for in the S.H.I.E.L.D. version. He puts the individual, it's the old style American style. He puts the individual above the crowd, but he's not able to uphold his own ethics.
No, not at all.
Then he sits there and festers in the end, and he creates this civil war. You know, in the beginning, it's like, okay, if you have a friend and you want to help them, but you want to help them so that we can rise to the next level.
Yeah.
But instead, it just ends with a big fucking war, and he insists on it.
He insists on it. And it's also, I find it strange that these highly intelligent, very, very resourceful people are actually not able to sit down and talk about this.
I mean, yeah, well, they're trying. That's what they're trying in the beginning, no?
No, because they're not finishing in any way.
The accords.
Yeah.
is
I mean, of
Slovakian
course,
or
if there
whatever.
really was a team, they would actually have addressed this in some way or another. They would have put some kind of rules down for their engagement. They would have maybe said, oh, yes, we go with this, but sometimes we do our own stuff. Nobody has to know about that.
But don't they do that already? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, but this was just, it was an unnecessary fight. That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's do it.
Okay. I was entertained, but I find 3 is the most that I can give you.
Well, okay. I was actually wanted to give it a 4. Or maybe
We
on
have
to...
a new situation.
This is...
Uncommon situation.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm on a 4 is actually, I was actually entertained. It was like more than 2.5 hours, and I didn't get bored really at any point. Not really.
Mm.
And there was some really good one-liners. And there was some great sidekick characters. I mean, I loved the Spider Boy in this movie.
Mm.
And it's so good to see the Ant-Man again. I totally forgot him. He is so funny. Yeah, they could have used that a lot more. But I can also go with 3. It should not be...
Should not create a civil war between us.
Well...
We won't do it in front of the screen.
No. So I think maybe 3 is okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
I feel like, yeah, I like the characters, the sidekicks. It's funny to see them again, and I also feel like it's clutter. It's like, what's the story again? It's like it's
yeah,
so,
that's
it's so
absolutely
thin, and it's like,
there's no story, not really.
it's covered.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cover, and then all the guys that are coming in with this suit and that shiny, new suit and blah blah. And in the beginning, when that Panther came in, it was like, come on, another one. It's more like they're.
True, but there's still some great actors also, even they have
Totally.
very
Yeah.
small roles.
It's just that everyone has to shine all the time. And then it becomes this, you can't see the forest for the trees.
No.
Or you can't see the trees for the forest. I don't know how. Anyway.
I got really distracted by one thing. The very bad guy, the doctor guy.
Yeah.
This is only for Danish people, but he looks so much like Simon Kvam.
Ah, no, it's... Yeah, I had to recall again. He was in the Berlin, the super cool, funny German movie about East Berlin. Remember? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's very
Okay, but
evil.
3.
Definitely.
Do we have any more interesting points to make?
Captain America.
Kind of sucks.
You suck, man.
Sorry.
Sorry about it.
Yeah.
Not really.
Can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shiny suits and all.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You're a fucking goner.
Just bring it to the next level.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I always wish that these, the big collective superhero movies would be great, but I haven't, I failed to see one that works.
The Ant-Man worked.
But that's not a lot of superheroes.
No, that's true.
It's one guy.
Yeah, that's true. It is true.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Okay. Enough for today. Okay. Half an hour.